Picture this. It's draft night. The air is thick with tension, and the football world is glued to their screens. The cameras pan to a restless Jaguars war room, phones ringing, papers shuffling, voices rising. Suddenly, a hush falls, and then chaos. The Jacksonville Jaguars have just pulled off one of the wildest, most shocking moves in NFL draft history. They've traded up, mortgaging their future, and not for a quarterback, not for a pass rusher, but for Travis Hunter, the two-way superstar who has every analyst, fan, and rival team either stunned into silence or screaming in disbelief. But behind the bright lights and flashing graphics, the truth isn't as glamorous as the highlight reels would make you think. Behind closed doors, tempers flared, rival executives accused the Jaguars of desperation. And even within Hunter's own camp, emotions boiled over. What should have been a moment of triumph has spiraled into a storm of betrayal, backroom deals, and family rifts. Fans are shocked, insiders are whispering about sabotage. And the NFL community is bracing for fallout unlike anything seen in years. Buckle up, because this isn't just a draft pick. This is the start of a scandal that could change everything. The draft clock was ticking down. And inside the Jaguars' war room, everything felt like a powder keg waiting to explode. Coaches were pacing, scouts were whispering to each other, and General Manager Rick Matheson was gripping his phone so tightly that his knuckles had turned white. Every insider in the league expected the Jaguars to play it safe, stay in their spot, and maybe take a dependable offensive lineman or defensive playmaker. But whispers began to circulate that something bigger, something reckless, was in the works. And sure enough, as the commissioner walked to the podium with that trademark smirk, the announcement sent shockwaves through the entire NFL world. There has been a trade. The Jaguars had packaged future first-round picks, star corner Yalen Murray, and even their backup quarterback in a jaw-dropping deal with the Chicago Bears to move into the top 10. And their target wasn't just anyone. It was Travis Hunter, the Colorado phenom, the two-way sensation who had been hyped as the most electrifying draft prospect since Deion Sanders. Fans gasped, analysts screamed over each other on live television, and rival executives were reportedly slamming their fists on tables in disbelief. The Jaguars just mortgaged their entire future. One commentator blurted out, his voice cracking, for a player who doesn't even have a clear NFL position. But inside the Hunter family camp, emotions were running even higher. Travis sat with his parents, his brother, and his small circle of advisors, watching the chaos unfold on screen. His mother, Sharon, clasped her hands together and whispered, "This isn't right. This doesn't feel right." She had always envisioned her son going to a stable franchise, somewhere with structure, somewhere safe. His father, Marvin, on the other hand, was beaming with pride, standing tall and almost shouting, "This is destiny. This is what we prayed for. He's about to change the league forever." The division between mother and father spilled into heated words. And Travis, caught in the middle, clenched his jaw in silence. Meanwhile, back in Jacksonville, Jaguars fans filled sports bars, living rooms, and even the stadium itself for the draft watch party. Cheers erupted when the team's name was called. But the moment Travis Hunter's name flashed across the screen, the atmosphere shifted. Some fans leaped to their feet, screaming with joy, convinced the team had just drafted the future face of the franchise. Others, however, threw their hands in the air, shouting, "Are you kidding me?" And what a waste. The city was split. Now, social media erupted with hashtags like #HunterHope and #FireMatheson. It's trending within minutes. But the story didn't end there, because almost immediately, reports began leaking out about how this trade had gone down behind the scenes. Insiders revealed that not everyone in the Jaguars front office agreed with the move. In fact, offensive coordinator Leon Keller had stormed out of the draft room minutes before the trade was finalized. He allegedly shouted, "We need protection for our quarterback. Not another damn experiment," before slamming the door so hard the walls rattled. Other staff members whispered that Keller had even called ownership directly, begging them to stop the trade. But owner Frank Dalton, swayed by Matheson's conviction and visions of jersey sales, greenlit the deal. The decision left the coaching staff fractured. Whispers of betrayal began to swirl. To make matters worse, rival executives accused the Jaguars of tampering. A report surfaced claiming that Matheson had been in secret contact with Hunter's camp weeks before the draft, trying to reassure them about his role on the team. One unnamed GM told a reporter they crossed a line. They promised Hunter things that are impossible to deliver. This is going to blow up in their faces. The NFL office declined to comment. But the whispers were enough to cast a dark cloud over what should have been a celebratory night. Travis himself was conflicted. When he stepped on stage and hugged the commissioner, the cameras caught his smile. But those who knew him best noticed the flicker of hesitation in his eyes. Later, in a private conversation with his agent, he admitted, "I don't know if I wanted this. I don't even know if I fit in there. I wanted stability." This feels like chaos. His agent tried to reassure him, telling him this was the opportunity of a lifetime. But Travis's mind was already spinning with doubts. It wasn't just about football anymore. It was about the weight of expectation, the fractures in his family, and the knowledge that an entire city was divided over his arrival. As the draft continued, the Jaguars' decision dominated every headline. ESPN analysts argued endlessly, one calling it the boldest move in franchise history, while another compared it to setting fire to a house just to see if it can still stand. Even former players chimed in. A retired Jaguars legend took to social media, posting, "Travis Hunter is a great player, but this front office has lost its mind." The comment quickly went viral, racking up millions of views and sparking debates among fans and media alike. The drama didn't stay. It's confined to football circles. In Jacksonville, local politicians weighed in, some praising the boldness of the move as a potential boost for the city, while others criticized the ownership for prioritizing spectacle over substance. One council member even went so far as to say, "This is the kind of reckless leadership that keeps this city from ever winning big." The line was quoted on local news broadcasts, turning a football decision into a civic controversy. Within the Hunter household, things grew even more strained. Sharon refused to celebrate, retreating to the kitchen while family and friends tried to toast Travis's achievement. Marvin, furious with her lack of enthusiasm, accused her of sabotaging their son's big night. "Why can't you just be proud of him?" he shouted, his voice trembling. Sharon, tears streaming down her face, replied softly but firmly, "Because I know what's coming. They're going to chew him up and spit him out. And we're the ones who'll have to pick up the pieces." The room fell silent, the tension palpable, and Travis, caught between his parents' warring visions, excused himself to step outside into the night air. But even as Travis tried to collect his thoughts, the storm around him only intensified. Fans outside his draft party began chanting his name, holding up homemade signs with messages like "Savior of the Jags" and "Hunter to a Legend." Yet just a block away, another group gathered, waving signs that read "Fire Matheson" and "Wasted Pick." The divide in the fan base mirrored the divide within Travis's own family, and the weight of it all pressed down on him like a tidal wave. The Jaguars, for their part, tried to spin the chaos as confidence. In a late-night press conference, GM Matheson addressed the media, his voice dripping with defiance. "We believe Travis Hunter is not just a player, he's a game changer. We are building the future around him. Critics will doubt, but we will prove them wrong." But when a reporter asked about the internal conflict in the war room, Matheson's face tightened. "There is no conflict," he snapped. "Everyone is on board." Yet insiders immediately leaked that this was far from the truth, that Keller and several other coaches were still fuming, and that some even considered resigning in protest as the night drew to a close. The story was no longer just about a draft pick. It was about a family divided, a city in uproar, and a team on the brink of implosion. What was supposed to be a dream come true had instead turned into a lightning rod for controversy, and everyone from Travis himself to the Jaguars. Ownership was left wondering if this bold move would end in glory or disaster. The seeds of betrayal, conflict, and heartbreak had been planted, and the drama was only beginning to unfold. The next morning, the headlines were brutal. Every sports network had plastered Travis Hunter's face across the screen, accompanied by phrases like reckless gamble, future in jeopardy, and Jaguars implode on draft night. The story was no longer just about football. It had become a full-blown soap opera, and the Jaguars were at the center of it. Social media was relentless, with clips of Leon Keller storming out of the war room going viral. Fans analyzed his every step, every gesture, speculating on what words were exchanged before he slammed the door. Some swore they heard him yell, "This is betrayal," while others claimed he muttered something darker under his breath. Whatever the truth, one thing was clear. The Jaguars so-called you. Clear. The Jaguars so-called you. Nitty was already in shambles. Travis woke up to the sound of his phone buzzing nonstop. Texts from friends, calls from old teammates, and dozens of notifications from family members flooded in. His younger brother, Tyrell, barged into his room with wide eyes and said, "Bro, half the internet loves you. Half the internet hates you. They're tearing each other apart over this." Travis rubbed his temples, already feeling the pressure suffocating him. "I just wanted to play football," he muttered. "I didn't sign up for all this drama." Tyrell shot him a sympathetic look, but added, "Well, you better get used to it because this is only the beginning." Meanwhile, inside the Jaguars facility, tension bubbled to the surface. Leon Keller refused to show up for the team's morning press briefing. Instead, he sent a scathing email to ownership, blasting the decision to draft Hunter. "You've set this franchise back 5 years," the email allegedly read. "And when this experiment fails, don't look to me to clean up the mess." The message leaked within hours, throwing gasoline on an already raging fire. Fans who had been skeptical of the pick now felt validated, while supporters of the move accused Keller of being stuck in the past. The divide was no longer just in the fan base, it was tearing through the heart of the organization at home. Travis's mother, Sharon, doubled down on her doubts. Sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of tea, she confided to a close family friend, "I can feel it in my bones. They're going to use him until he breaks. They don't see him as a person, just as a headline." Her words were heavy, her tone filled with dread. Marvin, overhearing her from the living room, exploded. "Why do you always have to be so negative? Can't you see this is the opportunity of a lifetime?" The argument escalated into shouting, with Marvin accusing Sharon of jealousy and Sharon accusing Marvin of blindness. Their voices carried through the house, leaving Travis sitting silently in his room, his head in his hands. He couldn't shake the feeling that his family was fracturing because of him. As if the family drama weren't enough, whispers began to emerge about Hunter's contract negotiations. Insiders claimed his camp wanted guarantees that he would play both offense and defense, something no modern NFL player had ever been promised. They want him to be the face of the franchise, one anonymous executive leaked. But the coaches don't even agree on where he should play. The stalemate fueled even more speculation. Some fans worried he'd become a distraction, while others championed the idea, calling him the future of football. Either way, the contract talks added another layer of tension to an already chaotic situation. Reporters dug deeper, and soon a bombshell story broke. The Jaguars' trade to acquire Hunter had almost fallen apart at the last second. Apparently, Chicago's front office had second thoughts about sending away their draft position. And only after frantic late-night calls and an additional future second-round pick did the deal finally go through. When this detail leaked, fans erupted again, furious that their team had given up even more capital to secure a player who was already polarizing. One viral tweet summed it up perfectly. The Jaguars didn't just jump off the cliff. They paid extra for the privilege. Travis tried to keep his focus on football, but the noise around him was deafening. When he met with reporters for the first time as a Jaguar, the questions weren't about his excitement or his goals, they were about the controversy. One reporter asked bluntly, "Do you feel like the Jaguars gave up too much for you?" Travis paused, visibly caught off guard, before answering carefully, "I can't control what the team does. I can only control how I play. But his guarded response sparked even more debate. Critics said he sounded uncertain, while supporters praised his humility. Once again, his every word was dissected under a microscope, behind closed doors. However, Travis confided in his childhood friend, Darius. "I don't know if I can handle this," he admitted during a late-night call. "My family's fighting, the coaches don't want me, and the whole world is waiting for me to fail. I wanted to prove myself, but this feels like a setup." Darius tried to reassure him, saying, "Bro, you've been doubted your whole life. This is just another test. Show them why they traded everything for you." Travis nodded. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that Darius was wrong. This wasn't just another test. This was a storm that could swallow him whole. Back in Jacksonville, the front office scrambled to contain the fallout. GM Matheson held a closed-door meeting with the coaching staff, trying to unify them around the decision. But the meeting quickly devolved into finger-pointing. One assistant coach reportedly slammed his binder shut and shouted, "You've put us in an impossible position. If he fails, we're all out of jobs." Matheson, red-faced and sweating, fired back, "He won't fail. He's a generational talent. You'll thank me later." But the room remained icy, and whispers of resignations persisted. Even ownership began to question whether they had made a catastrophic mistake. And just when things couldn't get worse, another twist hit the headlines. An anonymous source claimed that another team, the Dallas Cowboys, had been planning to draft Hunter if he fell a few more spots. The revelation sparked outrage among Jaguars fans, who accused their front office of panicking and overpaying to block a move that might not have even happened. The narrative shifted again. Had the Jaguars been outsmarted, or had they been played? Conspiracy theories spread like wildfire online, with fans insisting that other teams baited Jacksonville into overpaying. The drama reached fever pitch, with one fan even declaring on live radio, "This is the biggest scam in draft history." Back at the Hunter household, Travis's younger brother Terrell secretly recorded one of the heated arguments between their parents and posted a snippet to his private social media. Within hours, the clip leaked, showing Marvin shouting, "He's gonna save that team," while Sharon cried, "He's gonna lose himself in the process." The video went viral, turning the Hunter family into an unwilling reality show. Fans weighed in, some siding with Marvin's optimism, others echoing Sharon's fears. The family, already on edge, now found themselves dissected and judged by millions of strangers. Travis, furious with his brother, confronted him. "Why would you post that? Do you realize what you've done?" Tyrell shrugged, defensive. People needed to see the truth. They need to see what's really going on. Travis, overwhelmed, shouted back, "This isn't about them, it's about me. And you just made everything worse." The fight left the brothers estranged, adding yet another fracture to the already fragile family dynamic. With the team fractured, the fan base divided, and his family at war, Travis faced the harsh reality of what his draft night had unleashed. He wasn't just a player anymore, he was the center of a scandal, a lightning rod for conflict, and the unwilling star of a drama spiraling further out of control. And as he lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, one question haunted him. Was this the beginning of a legacy, or the beginning of the end? The following week brought no relief for Travis Hunter or the Jaguars organization. The NFL offseason, usually a time for planning and preparation, had transformed into a high-stakes reality show. Every move, every statement, every glance was analyzed by fans, reporters, and rival teams. Rumors of internal chaos only intensified when the Jaguars' training facility released a photo of Travis entering the building alone, his hoodie pulled low, face tense. Social media exploded. Some claimed he was walking into the storm with confidence. Others insisted he was hiding from the backlash that had already begun to consume him. Insiders whispered that the coaching staff had begun limiting contact with Hunter during initial drills, wary of the media circus that seemed to follow him everywhere. The tension within the family reached a boiling point when Travis returned home one evening to find his mother, Sharon, and father Marvin in another heated confrontation. This time, it wasn't just words. Sharon had taken to organizing the household around her fear. Insisting Travis avoid media interviews and stay off social media. Marvin, enraged, accused her of sabotaging his son's career before it even began. "You're not protecting him, you're suffocating him," he yelled. Travis, exhausted from hours of training, slammed his bedroom door, leaving the house trembling with unspoken words. The emotional toll was crushing. Friends who tried to offer advice were often caught in the crossfire, unsure whether to console Travis or navigate the family feud. Meanwhile, the media frenzy took a darker turn. One prominent sports journalist published an expose claiming that the trade to acquire Hunter had violated internal NFL protocols, suggesting that Matheson had pressured the league office to approve the deal under duress. The report claimed anonymous sources within the commissioner's office had expressed alarm over the rapid approval. Fans, already on edge, flooded comment sections, with some calling for investigations and others accusing the journalist of fabricating drama. The team tried to dismiss the claims, but the story had already taken on a life of its own. Conspiracy theories flourished, suggesting the Jaguars had struck secret deals with multiple teams to ensure Hunter landed in Jacksonville at all costs. In the midst of the chaos, Travis received a surprise visit from a former NFL star, DeAndre Simmons, who had once faced similar scrutiny as a young player. Simmons found Travis sitting alone in the Jaguars lounge, scrolling through viral clips of his family's arguments and social media explosions. Kid Simmons began, his voice calm but firm. "I've been where you are. Everyone's watching, everyone's judging, and they all think they know your story. But here's the truth. To control your path, not them. You step on that field, you make the plays, and suddenly, all the noise becomes background." Travis nodded, feeling a flicker of hope. But even Simmons admitted the road ahead would be anything but easy. As the first team practice approached, tension inside the locker room was palpable. Veteran players whispered in corners, debating whether Hunter's arrival would be a boon or a disaster. One lineman confided to a reporter, "I respect the talent, but the circus. It's insane. How do you focus when every throw, every tackle is scrutinized by millions?" The coaching staff tried to maintain order, but leaks from the facility only fueled the drama. Footage of Travis dropping passes in early drills circulated online, accompanied by cruel commentary and speculation that the Jaguars' gamble was already failing. The personal drama continued outside the team as well. Tyrell, Travis's younger brother, doubled down on his social media activity. Posting cryptic messages hinting at family secrets and disagreements over the draft decision. One post read simply, "Some sacrifices are too high, some dreams too heavy." The post went viral overnight, drawing thousands of comments speculating about the meaning. The Hunter family was now a central storyline in national media, and Travis was caught in the eye of the storm. Unable to escape the public gaze, during a live press conference, Matheson attempted to quell the unrest, promising unity and focus. "Travis Hunter is a transformational talent," he said, voice tight but unwavering. "This team believes in him, and we are committed to providing every resource for his success." But the questions that followed were relentless. Reporters demanded answers about the family tension, the leaked practice footage, and the alleged violations in the trade process. Each answer seemed to deepen the controversy rather than resolve it. The press conference ended with a palpable sense of unease, leaving fans, media, and even players questioning what the Jaguars had truly signed up for. Amid all this chaos, a shocking twist emerged. A rival scout released a tip claiming that another team, the Arizona Cardinals, had attempted to lure Hunter away with promises of immediate playing time on both offense and defense, allegedly offering a record-breaking rookie contract. The story spread like wildfire, reigniting debates about whether the Jaguars trade was not only risky, but possibly unnecessary. Analysts speculated endlessly, some arguing Jacksonville had overpaid to block a potential rival, while others insisted the move had been a calculated masterstroke. The narrative grew more convoluted by the hour, leaving fans dizzy and divided. Travis, increasingly overwhelmed, sought refuge in solitude, spending hours in the gym and reviewing game tape alone. Yet the pressure persisted. During one late-night session, a group of young fans managed to sneak into the facility, shouting his name and demanding autographs. While some cheered and offered encouragement, others hurled insults, blaming him for the perceived chaos surrounding the team. Travis, caught between admiration and hostility, struggled to maintain focus. Even his most loyal supporters were beginning to question whether he could handle the storm. The personal toll was not limited to Travis. Sharon's health began to deteriorate under the weight of public scrutiny and family tension. Close friends reported she had been skipping meals, unable to rest, consumed by worry over her son's well-being. Marvin, frustrated and exhausted, lashed out at reporters and fans alike. Posting public statements defending Travis, but also criticizing media coverage for sensationalism. The family's private struggles had now become a public spectacle, a relentless cycle of conflict amplified by the media. Even within the league, the drama reached unprecedented levels. Rival general managers were openly debating whether Jacksonville had made a historic error or a visionary move. Private calls between teams reportedly included veiled threats and accusations of tampering. Insiders suggested that the controversy could influence free agency, coaching decisions, and even the NFL's broader draft strategies for years to come. What had started as a single trade for a single player had spiraled into a league-wide dilemma, affecting strategy and trust across multiple franchises. Travis's own team dynamics began to reflect the public chaos. Veterans alternated between cautious optimism and open skepticism, while younger players oscillated between awe and anxiety. Locker room meetings often ended in tension, with some players quietly questioning whether Hunter's presence would disrupt chemistry. In one particularly heated session, an assistant coach reportedly slammed a playbook on the table, shouting, "We are not ready for this circus." Matheson had to intervene personally, pleading for calm and unity. The gesture was widely interpreted as either strong leadership or desperation. By the end of part 3 of this ongoing saga, the Jaguars found themselves at a crossroads. The city remained divided, the media relentless, and the Hunter family's personal turmoil had become impossible to ignore. Travis Hunter, the player who had once been celebrated for his two-way talent and athletic brilliance, now found himself navigating a maze of scrutiny, expectation, and personal conflict. Every play, every statement, every move carried consequences far beyond the field. And as preseason loomed, one question hung over Jacksonville like a storm cloud. Could Travis survive the media storm, the internal team conflict, and his own family's divisions, or was the Jaguars' gamble about to implode in the most public way imaginable? As preseason approached, the Jaguars' facility became a pressure cooker. Every drill, every meeting, every interaction was magnified under the unrelenting lens of public scrutiny. Travis Hunter, once celebrated for his speed, agility, and versatility, now carried the weight of a fractured family, a skeptical team, and an entire city divided. Veteran players continued to whisper doubts, some openly questioning whether the organization had sacrificed too much for a single rookie. Locker room morale wavered as conflicting messages from coaching staff created confusion about Hunter's role on offense and defense. Rumors of secret strategy meetings, player coalitions, and potential leaks to the media only heightened the tension. Fans watched closely, the line between support and criticism blurring with every passing day. Travis, determined to focus on football despite the chaos, pushed himself harder than ever. He arrived at dawn, stayed late, and repeated drills untie. His muscles ached and his mind burned. But the scrutiny followed him everywhere. A viral clip of him stumbling during a route ignited a firestorm online. With commentators debating whether the Jaguars' gamble had already failed, one social media post claimed, "He's talented, sure, but talent can't survive chaos." Travis's frustration grew, a storm of emotions brewing beneath the surface. He confided in his trainer one evening, saying, "I didn't sign up to be a headline. I just want to play football." The trainer, accustomed to guiding high-profile athletes, offered quiet advice. Control what you can, forget what you can't. The rest is noise. Meanwhile, tensions within the Hunter family reached a breaking point. Sharon, convinced that the public and media pressure was eroding her son's focus, began restricting his media appearances. Marvin, on the other hand, arranged private photo shoots and interviews, insisting that confidence and visibility were critical to Travis's legacy. The conflicting strategies sparked another explosive argument, this time in front of close friends. Voices were raised, doors slammed, and the household atmosphere grew increasingly toxic. Travis, trapped between loyalty to his parents and the need to focus on football, began isolating himself, retreating into the gym and film room for hours at a time. The family's drama had now become as intense as any professional conflict, and friends whispered that it threatened to overshadow Travis's entire career before it even began. As if the family turmoil weren't enough, the league drama escalated. Whispers of potential sanctions over the Jaguars draft maneuvers surfaced, with analysts claiming that Matheson's aggressive trade strategy had pushed ethical boundaries. Some even speculated about penalties, forfeited picks, or public reprimands. The NFL office issued vague statements about reviewing procedures, which only fueled speculation. Every news cycle seemed to spin further out of control, with pundits, fans, and rival teams debating whether Jacksonville had executed a brilliant masterstroke or committed the greatest miscalculation in draft history. Locker room conflicts mirrored the public spectacle. Veterans openly clashed over play calling that incorporated Hunter's dual-role potential. One seasoned linebacker was overheard saying, "We're either going to innovate or implode," capturing the sentiment permeating the team. Assistant coaches attempted mediation, but reports of private meetings leaked to the media, igniting further speculation. Fans scrutinized every press release, every practice snapshot, and every quote, turning preseason into an ongoing reality show. The pressure on Travis intensified, and even his closest teammates struggled to separate football from the surrounding drama amidst this chaos. A surprise visit from Travis's former high school coach shook the household. Coach Lewis arrived unannounced, finding the Hunter family in another heated confrontation. He pulled Travis aside and said, "You've got talent, heart, and grit. But none of that matters if you let the noise drown you. Focus on what you can control, and let everyone else fight their battles." His words resonated deeply, giving Travis a brief sense of clarity, but the underlying tension remained unresolved. The family feud, social media frenzy, media speculation continued to loom like a storm cloud, threatening to engulf him at any moment. Then came the first preseason game. The nation watched as Travis stepped onto the field, the weight of expectation heavy on his shoulders. Fans packed the stadium, some cheering, others holding signs protesting the trade. Cameras captured every move, every glance, every stumble. When he made a spectacular defensive play, the stadium erupted. But when a misstep occurred on a fence, critics pounced, flooding social media with commentary. Analysts debated endlessly whether the Jaguars had made the right decision. Rival teams reportedly began adjusting their scouting strategies, preparing specifically for Hunter's dual-threat abilities. The pressure intensified with each snap, transforming a game into a theater of high-stakes drama back at home. The Hunter family's situation escalated further. Sharon, fearing the emotional toll on Travis, considered sending him to live temporarily with a trusted family friend. Marvin opposed the idea vehemently, arguing that separation would harm both his confidence and family unity. The argument devolved into shouting matches and slammed doors. Travis, torn between loyalty to his parents and focus on football, felt trapped, as though every decision he made would ignite new conflict. The personal stakes had become almost unbearable, overshadowing even the most critical football preparation. Off the field, social media reached a fever pitch. Fan pages and comment threads exploded with speculation, conspiracy theories, and accusations. One viral post suggested the Jaguars management had orchestrated the family conflict for publicity. Another claimed that rival teams were deliberately leaking misinformation to destabilize the franchise. The frenzy grew so intense that even NFL executives reportedly held emergency meetings to monitor the situation. The league, already navigating the spectacle of a high-profile rookie, now faced a controversy that threatened to overshadow the season entirely. Amid all this, Travis began to find his own voice. He held a private meeting with the coaching staff, asserting his desire to contribute fully and clarify his role on the field. The discussion was tense, filled with disagreements and heated moments. But for the first time, Travis expressed confidence and determination. "I didn't come here to be anyone's pawn," he told the coaches. "I'm here to play, to win, and to prove that all this noise is nothing compared to what we can do together." The meeting marked a turning point, signaling a potential shift from chaos to control. Though the surrounding drama remained intense as preseason came to a close, the Jaguars' gamble had produced both sparks of brilliance and flashes of potential disaster. Travis Hunter's talent was undeniable, but the personal, organizational, and public conflicts surrounding him had transformed his rookie year into a story that felt more like a soap opera than football. Every play, every decision, and every interaction had far-reaching consequences, leaving fans, family, and the league itself waiting with bated breath to see whether this extraordinary talent could navigate the storm. By now, the Jaguars faced the ultimate question. Could the team, the organization, and the Hunter family survive the whirlwind they had created? The answer remained uncertain. One thing was clear: I was on Jacksonville. Every camera trained on Travis Hunter, and every conversation punctuated with speculation. The drama, betrayal, and conflict had reached a crescendo, leaving the NFL world captivated, horrified, and unable to look away. The stage was set for a season unlike any other, where football and reality collided in ways no one could have predicted. The storm was far from over, and Travis Hunter's journey had only just begun. So here we are, at the edge of what might be the most dramatic season in NFL history. Travis Hunter has stepped onto the field, but the real story isn't just about yards, tackles, or touchdowns. It's about the whirlwind of family tension, team conflicts, and a city watching every move with bated breath. The Jaguars gambled big, the draft shook the league, and the fallout has already rewritten the narrative of what a rookie can face in his first season. Fans are still divided, analysts are still debating, and the Hunter family is still navigating its own private storm. Will Travis rise above the chaos and prove everyone wrong? Or will the pressures of fame, expectation, and betrayal consume him before the season even heats up? Only time will tell. And one thing is certain: you do not want to miss a single moment of this unfolding drama. If you've been shocked, thrilled, or just plain obsessed with every twist of this story, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe now so you don't miss any updates on Travis Hunter, the Jaguars, and every scandal, triumph, or jaw-dropping moment as it happens. And drop a comment below. Tell us what you think will happen next. Will Hunter dominate? Will the family drama tear him apart? Or is the Jaguars' bold move about to backfire spectacularly? Your take could start the next big debate. Buckle up, because this season promises more twists, more controversy, and more drama than you've ever seen in NFL history.